Hi guys, thank you for joining us today.
We're diving again into the topic of the volumes in certain musical genres, but this time with a more cultural approach. Let's start right away. Sing, sing, sing. When it comes to Irish traditional music, the voice isn't about the volume, it's about storytelling. Singers use soft to medium projection with flowing ornamentation and emotional phrasing that pulls you in close. Whether it's a folk ballad or a traditional Irish song, vocals feel intimate, almost like a whispered history passed down through generations. No flashy belting here, just heartfelt restraint and timeless charm.
Always deaths without sorrow or strife, and always lives pleasant and charming. And a soldier, he always is decent and clean, in the finest of clothing is constantly seen, while other poor fellows go dirty and mean, and sup on thin gruel in the morning.
When it comes to the genre chanson, from the French word song, the volumes can actually be very different because this genre exists since many centuries. Around the medieval age, you could already hear the first ones. So, of course, back then, there were no mics, no amplification, and one would guess that people would probably sing much louder, especially because music was used to entertain people, and often even they were singing during work and stuff like that, or to tell stories as well. So sometimes, just because there was no mic and they were maybe outdoors, or in that context, maybe the volume was a bit louder. But I have no proof of that, and I don't think that anyone has. So I would like to now focus more on the genre chanson as we know it from Edith Piaf and similar artists, and of course then mics already existed. So the volume was changing a lot. Sometimes you would hear more quiet volume in the more neutral when the singer was in a more intimate part of the song, and then sometimes the feelings were really strong and the expression was very big, so then the singer would use a very loud volume, so in CVT terms using edge and overdrive.
Entraîné par la foule qui s'élance et qui danse une folle farandole, nos deux mains restent soudées, et parfois soulevés, nos deux corps enlacés s'envolent et retombent tous deux épanouis, enivrés et heureux.
And I'm going to mention this because later on there's going to be differences. In this case, it's pretty much the same for male and female singers. And it's just a very natural way of expressing the music, often with a speaking character, so literally speaking the text with the music underneath, and then going back to more singing way of using the voice. But definitely the volumes are very natural, as if we were speaking.
K-pop vocals, think power, polish and precision. These singers are trained to hit the high notes, blend harmonies and switch from whispery verses to explosive choruses, all within a single track. The volume can be loud, but not necessarily in the raw delivery, because the effect is total pop domination. Whether it's Blackpink or BTS, K-pop vocals are made to stand out in a sea of synths and bass drops.
Now let's move to India. In Indian music, I can already hear a difference in the use of modes between male and female singers. So female singers, they use a lot the mode neutral, but they use it with a very light sound color and a lot of twang. And it doesn't seem that quiet, or not as quiet as you would expect it to be if I say neutral. But that's because they use a lot of twang, as I said, and also because they are singing quite high in pitch. So what I perceive is that even when they are quite loud, because neutral in the higher part of the voice can be loud, they still sound very sweet. On the other hand, male singers, they use pretty much all the modes all the time, but I feel that they are always having this restrained character. I don't know if it's because of the language. I don't speak the language. So maybe if some of you out there know more about that, maybe you can confirm that. But what I hear is that they use many different volumes, but always with a restrained character. And in both cases, they use many ornamentations. Here, I have to say, volume-wise, ornamentations cost a lot of energy. So if you want to try them out, maybe start in neutral and then go slowly to more metallic modes. But that is just a small tip on the side.
Across Africa's many musical styles, vocals are loud, proud, and packed with rhythm. From the powerful chants of South African choirs to the rapid-fire griot storytelling in West Africa, voices are projected with clarity and strength. No mic needed. Even in modern Afrobeats, singers keep that percussive energy alive, waving their vocals right into the groove. The result? Music that moves your body and your spirit.
So when it comes to flamenco, we have many things in common with Indian music actually. First of all, the ornamentations and also the reduced character. So the volumes can be between quiet or very quiet and quite loud, but always with this held back character. I guess that's because they have this huge emotion inside that they try to restrain in some way, or they try to express it in a more deep way. I don't know. However, this reduced character and this not extremely loud volume, I mean, they can be loud, but not extremely sharp and loud all the time. It really helps to emphasize that suffering that they often share in their music. Then we move to a very similar way of singing, not genre, but way of singing, which is the Oriental music, as we know from Arabic songs, for example, or also Turkish songs. And here I hear a lot of curbing, so mid-volume, sometimes a bit louder, but in general also very reduced. And of course, some neutral every now and then, so the range is quite big. Usually they are not so sharp either, so they have a lot in common with the previous one, flamenco. And also the ornamentations are there, a little different, but very, very similar actually. And I think the only difference might be that in flamenco you hear more overdrive due to the language. The vowels in Spanish have e and o. So it is overdrive, even if it's a reduced density overdrive, but it's overdrive. While in other languages, Turkish or Arabic, I think you have more closed vowels or more reduced vowels like the u or that you hear in curving. So it's even more reduced than flamenco, I would say.
دايما مشغول بحاجات غيري ولا ليا
And also one more note that I would say one can hear from female singers, specifically in the genre, is that they are not singing as high-pitched as the Indian ones, but still they often sound quite sweet, although their sound color is not as bright, as light anymore when they go to the higher part of the voice.
Balkan singing is loud, expressive, and often very intense. From the sharp harmonies of Bulgarian women's choirs to the rough, emotional vocals in Serbian folk music, the voice stands out with power and urgency. The music uses complex rhythms and is often backed by strong brass sections of traditional instruments. It's made to grab your attention and fill the space, whether it's a festival, a village square, or a concert stage.
So when it comes to Fado, which is a genre that you can hear a lot in Portugal, again, I'm the reduced lady here today, you hear a lot of curving, again, due to the language.
E as almas sabem escutar-me, chorei, chorei, poetas do meu país, troncos da mesma raiz, da vida que nos juntou.
Even the edge of overdrive, they always seem a little more reduced. I think it's also not just because of the language, but also a cultural thing. When you go to Portugal, people don't like it if someone speaks very loud. So I think when it comes to music, of course, they express their feelings. They are very emotional, very genuine, but still there's always this little held back character again. And it's funny because I live just 2 hours away from Portugal, and here, especially female singers are super loud and very sharp and very edgy. And that is because the traditional music here, even though it has very much in common with Fado and the language is even almost the same, but they play with tambourines and bagpipes. So that, of course, you have to sing an edge if you want to be heard without a microphone over, I don't know, 20 tambourines.
Reggae vocals are usually laid back, rhythmically relaxed, and emotionally warm. Unlike louder genres where the voice battles for dominance, reggae singers often sit just above or even inside the groove, blending with descanting guitars and offbeat drums. Icons like Bob Marley or Peter Tosh used expressive, soulful voices that carried strong message without needing extreme volumes. It's more about presence and conviction than force. Even when passionate, reggae vocals tend to feel calm, conversational, and grounded, sometimes almost whispered, sometimes lifted with harmony, but rarely shouted. In live settings, vocals might come through a bit stronger, but the energy still stays chill, even when the message is intense. Reggae uses volume sparingly. It speaks loudest through vibe and clarity rather than raw power.
Thank you so much for watching. Of course, we know it is very difficult to cover all genres and all cultures. We already agreed that we were just gonna scratch the surface a bit, so please forgive us if we missed anything, or just leave it in the comments. Maybe it inspires us to make a video about that at some point later on. Also, let us know where you're from. We are always looking forward to hearing from you and to know you a little bit better. And of course, we are open to learn more about new sounds, sounds that at least are new for us, from your place. So please, please, please leave it in the comments. We are happy to hear from you.
If you've learned something new with us today, then give this video a thumbs up. And if our content has made you enjoy exploring singing even more, then please consider subscribing to our channel. Also, if you're interested in booking a single session with us, please feel free to get in touch. Our contact details are in the description right below the timestamps. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have fun singing and see you very soon. Bye!
Bye.